What is going on, NFL Nation? Titans Universe here to give you my recap and thoughts of the AFC notable trades and signings. The AFC has really beefed up their talent this year. It's a pretty stacked conference, I gotta say. And the first notable thing I want to talk about is the Russell Wilson trade, since it was the big headline that happened. So the Seahawks trade Russell Wilson and a 4th-round pick to the different Broncos for Noah Fant, Drew Lock, Shelby Harris, 2 first-round picks, and 2 second-round picks. And this is a type of deal that only really pays off for the Broncos if Russell Wilson goes and wins them a Super Bowl. They gave up 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. That's a steep price to pay for a quarterback, and I do think Russell Wilson is worth it. You're getting the best deep ball passer in the league. One of the best technical quarterbacks you can get in the NFL, and then Russell Wilson still has it. Like, that injury last year was a rarity for Russell Wilson, and the Seahawks were already out of the playoffs by the time he came back, or at least almost out of the playoffs by the time he came back, so really nothing Russell could do for them. I think they were like 2-8 when he came back. You're asking a lot if you're saying that he could turn the Seahawks season around at that point. But this does level the Broncos up. This does give them a Super Bowl contention, Super Bowl caliber quarterback. A quarterback that can finally utilize the talent in wide receiver, even though Courtland Sutton has already been proven to be a good wide receiver. With a quarterback like this, his game can be elevated even further into being top 10, and you can start seeing him consistently get the ball more. Having a pretty accurate quarterback like Russell Wilson, he's definitely going to find Courtland Sutton on a lot of big plays, and he also can get Jerry Jeudy going. Broncos fan can finally see the value of Jerry Jeudy, because if Russell Wilson can't get Jerry Jeudy to be a good wide receiver, then I don't know what can. This isn't just a quarterback that, you got to boost a quarterback. This is a quarterback that can boost your talent on offense. So I hope your Broncos fans are really excited and got something to really look for next season. I definitely see y'all as playoff contenders, and even if you don't have a run game, Russell Wilson has proved to not need a run game. Y'all are going to really see a pass-heavy offense in y'all's team, and really exciting Broncos team with Russell Wilson at the helm. Next one I want to talk about is the Davante Adams trade, which was shocking to me. Like, this came out of nowhere when I read it. Davante Adams being traded to the Raiders. The Packers receive a 1st-round and 2nd-round pick in the 2022 draft, and Davante Adams becomes the highest paid wide receiver ever with a 5-year, $41 million deal. The Raiders really pulled out the cash for Davante Adams, and I don't blame him. Davante Adams is one of the best wide receivers in the league, if not the best wide receiver in the league. And with Derek Carr, a man that only had one good wide receiver, and Hunter Renfrow after the Henry Ruggs thing, and utilized him to the best of his ability, I really think Derek Carr is going to have a great time throwing it to Davante Adams. And along with Darren Waller and, of course, Hunter Renfrow, he's good. Actually helped me on my fantasy team a few times. He was a sleeper. But, like, this is something that could really help the Raiders get over that hump of making it further into the playoffs. They always start off strong every year and end up fizzling out. This is something that could elevate them to the next level. Davante Adams is definitely somebody that can carry a game, carry the team. I can see a game where he gets like 14 catches, 170 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and they win the game just because Davante Adams is just that special. Crazy to me, though, is if you showed a person like 4 years ago, even 3 years ago, this contract that Davante Adams got, and don't put a player on it, just tell them the contract, they would think, that's QB money. That's QB money right there, and their wide receiver is getting it. The wide receiver position is being elevated. They are getting paid, and I'm here for it. And the next huge deal that we got is the Browns trading for Deshaun Watson. In exchange for Deshaun Watson and a 6th-round pick, the Texans will receive a 2022 first-rounder, a 2023 first-rounder, and a 2024 first-rounder. They also receive a 2022 4th-rounder and a 2023 3rd-rounder, and finally a 2024 4th-rounder. And just like the Russell Wilson trade, the Browns are going all in for a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. And I do think it's actually an upgrade from Baker Mayfield. Deshaun Watson is more poised in his pocket, better at making decisions. There was times where Baker Mayfield would throw it to his first option and it'd be intercepted, or it would be an incomplete pass. Instead of just going to his third option, he would hesitate on that. And Deshaun Watson is actually more calm in those situations. He would go roll out of the pocket and look for somebody to be open, and would hit his target most of the time. Talking about someone in the last season he played had no wide receivers besides Brandon Cook, and led the NFL in passing yards. And speaking of wide receiver, since I'm already doing the Browns, I'll do the Amari Cooper one right here. The Cowboys trade Amari Cooper to the Browns for a 4th round pick and a 6th round swap. And with Odell and Jarvis Landry not really working out in the last 2 seasons for the Browns, I can definitely hope that Amari Cooper, with the addition of Deshaun Watson, can do a little bit more better for the Browns. The Browns already have a solid running back in Nick Chubb, so the run game, I feel like they should just go heavily on the run game and do play action. That will help them utilize Amari Cooper and make it a little easier on Deshaun Watson. And they also have Kareem Hunt, who is a good receiving weapon, somebody that can't be underestimated when Nick Chubb is off the field. The only concern I do have about the Browns is Amari Cooper seems to be the only weapon they do have in that receiving core. I felt like a top priority in the draft is to draft a wide receiver or a tight end. The picks they do have, because they don't have a first rounder, they can definitely try to get something with them 2 third-round picks that they have. Sign a wide receiver. There's still Will Fuller, Antonio Brown, which I doubt they would go for that, but like it really isn't that big of a concern. Like Donovan Peoples-Jones showed flashes of being a good wide receiver last year. Deshaun Watson, it's not exactly something that's going to ruin the Browns season because they don't have an amazing receiver talent. Okay, on to the next signing. The Colts have traded for Matt Ryan from the Falcons for a 3rd round for the 2022 draft. And this is the first QB I've seen that's actually a threat with the Colts since Andrew Luck. Being that the last 2 quarterbacks that they had was one that was injured, but it was reckless. Colts didn't really like to keep him. Carson Wentz I'm talking about. And then Phillip Rivers was just dink and dunk, would rarely go deep. Colts didn't really feel like they could anything with him. He was already old and heading out. But with Matt Ryan, he's actually somebody who could be better off with the Colts. And you see in the name of my channel, Titans Universe, I'm obviously a Titans fan, but I'm not biased about this. The Colts have a chance to win the division more than they have ever had since Andrew Luck left. That's if Matt Ryan does prove to be good. So the AFC South's going to be a Titans-Colts race, and I mean, like it always is, but this one's going to be a little more close, and it should be pretty exciting. Okay, transitioning over to the defense, the Bills signed Von Miller. It is a 6-year, $120 million contract. This is a really good fit for the Bills. I feel like Von Miller has been somebody they've been missing on the line. He's definitely still a good player. He really showed up big time in the Super Bowl game against the Bengals, and the Von Miller that was played for the Broncos is still there. I feel like that's the Von Miller that's going to show up for the Bills. It's just the Rams just had a really good pass rush, and not everybody's going to be able to eat, but he definitely was a presence that helps Aaron Donald get more sacks, and in general be as dominant as Aaron Donald always is. This can make the Bills' pass rush pretty scary and really help out their secondary. Because, you know, if you sacking the quarterback quick, you don't really need to cover that much. In general, this does make the Bills' defense a lot better. Overall, Von Miller is definitely something the NFL should watch out for on the Bills' defense. The Bills got a good defensive player out of this. Now, let's get into some of the Chargers' big headlines. The Bears trade Khalil Mack for a 2nd and 6th round pick. And the Chargers also signed J.C. Jackson to a 5-year, $82 million contract. And the Chargers defense is looking scary right now. Hopefully this helps them with their run defense with the Khalil Mack trade, being that was their biggest weakness last year. So if they could fix that, this defense is going to be really scary, and I see the Chargers as a real contender in the AFC. Because their offense is already scary, now their defense could be scary. Chargers fans, I know you're excited about this. And as of recording this video, I see that Tyreek Hill has been traded to the Dolphins for a 2022 1st and 2nd and 4th round pick and a 2023 4th and 6th round pick. This makes the Dolphins wide receiver core pretty good. Like, they got Jalen Waddle, Devontae Parker, who can still play. Then they got Tyreek Hill. If there was ever going to be a year for Tua to break out, it's going to be next year, because this wide receiver core he's got is just pretty freaking good. And yet again, now the Dolphins are another team that can threat the AFC. As a whole, the AFC, the whole conference is stacked. I really can't say who makes the playoffs and who's not. You could say half of the AFC or over half of the AFC teams can make the playoffs next season. It's going to be a wild race. Any team could get in, any team could fall out. There's definitely going to be some 10-7 teams, maybe even 11-6 teams that just barely misses the playoffs, that you could say deserves to make the playoffs. That's just how stacked the AFC is. If there's any AFC rumors or trades or signings that I missed in this video, feel free to comment down below. I'll discuss with you about it. But I'm gonna end this video here. It's been Titans Universe. That's been my AFC recap and reaction. Peace.